Warning: the following video contains explicit language which may be offensive to some viewers or inappropriate for children. The content within this video is intended for mature audiences only.
Hello and welcome to tonight's video, or today's video, or this morning's video, depending on what time and where you're watching this. This video was inspired actually by a comment left by a person, Spark810. His comment was basically, he was just sharing something from his growing up as a Gen Xer. And it got me thinking about some of the other crazy things that we did growing up. But before we get into it, what I want to do is give a warm and huge thank you to all the people that leave comments, all the people that hit the like button, and all the people that hit the subscribe button. Thank you very much. It's much appreciated. And I also want to give thanks to the people that do the Gen X shorts and reels and stuff on places like YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and so on and so forth to ad nauseum. However, I want to get into this video. I shouldn't have said however, but in this video, his comment got me thinking about some of the things that we did, I believe would be on a technical level illegal. I'm not sure if there's any actual laws written, but it is what it is. And because we didn't bring attention to ourselves and we didn't try to sell or, do anything like that, it's probably in this gray area, and I imagine the statute of limitations have run out on it. In my reply to his comment, I talked about one of the things we did as kids. Me and my friend, we rented Pink Floyd's The Wall. And what we did was, we got an extra set of connector cables. I forget what they're called now. That ran from the VCR to TV set. And what we did on the audio side was, I had well, then it wasn't old, and it's old now, it's probably ancient now. The big superstore, not really grocery store, the big chain store at the time was TGNY. And I had a little stereo record player, cassette player, dual cassette player, with all the bells and whistles. It was cheap, even by the standards of the 80s. It was made by a company called York's. My friend had a black one, mine was silver. Excuse me. What we did is we went down to Radio Shack and got a microphone, a stereo microphone plug, a replacement plug. Basically, it was a tube that had the plug on it. You unscrewed it, and it had a tong for audio left, a tong for audio right. Coming out of the back of the VCR on the audio cables, you had a plug-in for audio left and audio right. So what we did is we got an extra set of the cables, cut one end off, stripped the wires, soldered them to the microphone jack, slid it on, plugged it into the microphone port or the audio in on the stereo. And the way these particular stereos were arranged back then, that even through anything through the microphone still came out the speakers. So we watched the wall and recorded the audio. And one of us, I think it was Gary, was on pause duty. You'd have the music, I'd do the sing. Then when you started getting the dialogue, we'd pause the tape. Then when the music would start again, we would unpause it. It took us about 3 or 4 times through the movie. The first time we watched it through, we were trying to figure out places where we wanted to pause and unpause as we made our tape. And this worked out rather well. We had I think it was 120-minute tapes, which were, no, 180-minute tapes, which meant there were 90 minutes on each side. So we basically created our own, basically the Wall original soundtrack. Yes, we did have the vinyl for the actual album on vinyl of the Wall. But there was just something kind of gratifying, kind of nice that we got our own, basically the audio from the movie. That was just, there's a couple of songs that on the album are in the wrong order for the narrative of the movie. And I believe it's Comfortably Numb and can't think of the other song. It starts out, I'm a stranger in a strange land, need to find me a woman, you know. And in the movie, where he goes performing and basically the groupies basically sneak in, you have that song. Then after the concert he performs, you have Comfortably Numb. And on the LP they're switched. They're switched in order. But we created our own OST that way. We also did this with other things. I believe we did Cabaret. We did a little bit from the Star Wars movies. We had those on VHS. Rocky Horror Picture Show, we did that. We rented Rocky Horror Picture Show, and we did the same thing with the music from Rocky Horror Picture Show. It was just one of those life hacks that we did. And we did other things like that. I've touched on earlier videos on our experimentations with explosives. We also, the military at the time still had C-rats. Actually, at this time, I think they were making the conversion from C-rats, or C-rations, over to MREs, meals ready to eat. And for the C-rats, they had like a little tab which caught on fire fairly easily and burned extremely hot for heating the C-rats up. What we found you could do, you get 2 or 3 of them, you dig a small hole, you put them in, you light them, You slowly put sand over them. We got balls and beads and pieces of glass. It wasn't tempered. It was extremely unstable, and it broke real easy. But we had fun doing it. How we didn't burn ourselves with, second, third degree burns, I don't know, but we did. Or we did not burn ourselves. We did survive it. We did come out of it fairly unharmed. And that was just kind of what we did back then, just things like that. As I think of things, I'll probably do more videos like this where I go specifically on something that I've done. Like I said, that was fun. That was just a way of hacking things. I mean, everyone's familiar with Gen X, dropping a blank tape in a cassette recorder and waiting, eons for the radio to play a song that we wanted to record to make our mixtapes. We took that to the next level of creating our own soundtracks. Then we took our soundtracks that we made and made our own mixtapes, and we did just some crazy things that way. So I'm going to go ahead and call this video good here. And until next time, peace.